Yeah, I think good to see, a lot of contributions in all three phases. You block 2 punts in a game, your odds of winning the game go way up. I thought the biggest play really in the game, but especially in the second half, we didn't do a good job on defense. One of those things where miscommunications and misalignments get you beat more than mismatches do. I didn't think we played violently on that play, and then the very next play for us our kickoff return team to do a good job of Sawyer being able to set it up and just really outrun two guys, into the end zone. Really, I thought brought a lot of juice back in the building, and it was, our guys playing with confidence after that. So definitely some things I think that we can still clean up and learn from, running the ball more consistently. I thought they did a good job early on of taking away some things that we like to do. So we had to do a good job of making sure that we made some adjustments there and got better. I thought right before halftime was really big. We scored, held them, used all 3 timeouts, and then we're able to get right back down in scoring range and go into the half 24-0. So some things I think, like I said, that are good. Going in, coming out of half, I think you got to be good there in order to be able to gain separation. And then I really thought we played a ton of guys at the end, and they played pretty solid. They held up, and there's a ton of guys there that work really hard throughout the week. So to be able to see those guys go out and have some success was really good for the morale of the team.
Questions for the players? I don't know. How about Sawyer? How would you characterize how the locker room feels about this game? Like, what were the emotions there? What are you thinking?
I think just from last week's loss, it was a tough one. So I think coming back, bouncing back, was a good response by our whole squad. So I think everybody coming out of this game pretty happy with the result.
And then how about the way that you guys scored right before halftime there? Was that a confidence boost just coming off of Montana and not connecting in that similar-ish sequence before half? And now you guys kind of got it right this time. Is that something you can build off of maybe?
No, 100%. We always talk about coming out of the half pretty fast, to talk about the middle eight. So I think it was a good response, at least at coming out at the end of the first half, scoring a couple points, and then I think we could have came a little better off the second half. Had a miss, bobble the ball, so I think we come better, do a little bit better job at least in the coming out a little faster. So yeah.
Well, John, what was working well for you to get through a couple times?
Yeah, I just went with our scheme. You never know who's going to come free, and I just happened to be that guy twice today. So we take a lot of pride in our special teams, and that showed up today.
Does the next step here, the schedule, come at a good time? You guys seem to come into this one a little banged up.
Yeah, this bye week will be nice to get everybody fresh and ready to go, but every week we're ready to get after it. Doesn't matter the opponent; it's a faceless opponent over there.
We'll start with you, Sawyer. Seems like special teams has been really huge for your guys' program so far this season. What can you say about the attention of detail that you've seen so far, from the squad?
Coach Kosich, I haven't really been anywhere else, but I can tell you that I don't think there was a better special teams coordinator out there. Day in and day out, he is trying to make us almost gives us the answers to the test to a point where I go, if you don't come ready in any special teams, it's 100% on you, because he does every single thing possible to get you ready for every single situation. So a lot of big plays happening on special team. Just shows the hard work that we put in and details that we put into special teams.
Also, you guys went 6 for 6 in the red zone, in scoring opportunities. How's that make you guys feel as an offense to see it? You guys came up big in that area.
That's one of our goals in the offense. We didn't succeed on that last week, so we had a big we knew that we had to be a little better coming into this game with scoring in the red zone. So I think it just showed that we can bounce back anytime something bad happens, and I think the whole offensive crew did a good job.
All right, and for you, man, and both times when you got your hand on the ball, it was on either side of the of the punt block. What can you say about your guys' system that really, is it an aggressive, blitz, or what were you guys seeing out there that really helped out?
I could just tell their shield was biting on my inside and outside moves. So I'd jab right or jab left. The first couple times we went safe, so I knew they'd bite on that. And I came free, put a move on, and was just able to squeeze through. So.
Also, hands feeling a little sore after getting hit with blocks or punts there?
I feel great.
All right, well, then my final question, though, for you is, like, as Sawyer was saying, the special teams, the importance of it. What growth have you seen out of this squad from fall camp to where you guys are right now?
Yeah, I mean, we put so much time into it. It feels really good to, see the outcome that we had. And it's just a lot of discipline. We got guys that, want to work hard and go get one, so that's what you got to see today.
Sawyer, you had that return touchdown at a probably critical time in the game. Valpo just scored. What's that do for the sideline when you take the distance? Like, what's that do for the crowd, the sideline, everybody in the building?
Like Coach said, we let up a touchdown. So I was glad to be put in a position to try to get the momentum back on our side. So that play wasn't just big for special teams. I think it was big for the rest of the game. I think got the momentum back to our side of the ball.
How can then this group on offense then build off of this performance heading into MVFC play?
I think we gotta stay with focusing on what we do every single day. So we know that we're going coming into a tough schedule with coming into conference play. So we just gotta keep doing what we've been doing.
And for the defense special teams side too, I want your thoughts too, if you don't mind, on what a performance like this, only allowing 7 points, what does that do for confidence heading into conference play?
Oh yeah, definitely builds the confidence, but every week we stress it's us versus us. So we're just going to go out there and play our best game, and that'll determine the results right there.
Anything else for the players? Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Sorry. Copy, yeah.
We'll continue with questions, Coach.
Coach, what did you think of that final 2 minutes of the first half?
No, I thought it was really good. I thought our spotter up in the box did a good job of, hey, if we want to take timeouts here, we can get the ball back. So thought our guys did a great job. They were trying to get to the half, and our guys did a good job of getting off blocks and tackling and giving our offense an opportunity to be able to get the ball back. I thought, being able to fair catch the ball and conserve some more clock was really big too as well. Then I just thought Jerry was really clean there, and understood the situation. I think, it's a teachable moment, right? Like you get into it the first time in the season as a starting quarterback and maybe a little bit more frantic last week. And I think once you get in those spots and start to gain some experience and make mistakes, then, you get better. And I'm talking to myself too, as well as talking to anybody, So I just thought our guys had some confidence. There was no panic. Did a great job. And then for CJ to go out there and knock it through, I thought his night was really solid too as well, which was important. I think, you got to be able to do a good job. He was really fast into the ball last week as we went back and watched him. And when you're fast into the ball, his leg was fast. He pulled a few just by, I think, just really sometimes you can be too amped up, in those situations. And I think he owned it. He flushed it. And then today just watching him and how natural it was, how fast the ball got off the ground, it just looked, like CJ of the past. So I think, all you can do with those guys is just keep pouring into them and keep trying to, give him as much belief and confidence as you can. But, obviously really happy with him to be able to see, the results of his work too as well.
Yeah, I thought that was important that he snapped, kind of got into a groove there. As a head coach, do you have conversations with him, or do you leave that up to your special teams unit?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of guys. Me and Sean have coached kickers in the past off of it. It's something when I left here, when I talked about learning how to grow, like I knew I needed to be able to, those guys need to get coached. At a lot of spots, I think you take your specs and you tell them, hey, we're going to do field goal in period 7 and we're going to do punt in period 14. But the rest of the time, you're on your own. Like we challenge those guys. We coach those guys. We really try to dig in deep into making sure those guys are, improving and held accountable every single day. And I said that before when I first came in here, like, I didn't hire anybody on our staff that didn't have special teams experience. I think that is so important. Like, I've said it before, the best coaching done in football, in my opinion, is done on fourth down. It's you don't get as much time as everybody else does. You're bringing in offensive, defensive, like it's your elite guys on your team that are coming together no matter what position they're on to form those units. And we play, not just our backups on those plays. Like, we take our best players and get those guys out there, basically saying it's going to be a difference maker for us. So, I give Sean a ton of credit. I've been obviously working with him before in the past, and then when I was gone, we would go to some of the same special teams meetings for professional development in the summer or in the winter, and it's the best special teams coordinators in the country. And he matched those guys and was able to stand right with those guys in all those meetings, and really I've always respected, his vision and how much he values special teams. And I know our guys are going to be coached up every single week. So it was awesome to be able to see those guys be able to be a difference, in the game. You can tell the teams that put a ton of effort and time into special teams. It shows up on game day.
Did Simon approach you? You approach Simon about some of the wrinkles that he's getting more involved in this week?
Yeah, he approached me, to be honest with you. I love Simon Renfro. There's not a more selfless guy. He loves to compete. It has nothing to do with size and speed and, all those things measurables that you get to measure. Like, he has more intangibles than maybe anybody on our team. He's endeared himself to our team. Like, guys want to play with him and play for him. And he just walked in on Monday and said, "Hey, I'm willing." Like, I've been told before that I might have to play receiver. Before I won the quarterback job a year ago, and I'm willing to be able to go do that. And we just felt like he's not doing our team any good standing next to me. All day long. And you see some of the things that he can do, and I think he brings a confidence to our team. I think anytime you can have another ball handler and a guy that you trust out there, like we didn't do a few things right. The swinging gate play was a dumpster fire from the start off of it, and we needed to do a better job there. But just to have him out there and be a threat, those are things you got to practice now and prepare for when you're on the other side of those things. Like, hey, that's their starting quarterback from a year ago. That's holding every kick. And then when he's on the field, obviously, you're always aware of it. I'm a defensive guy, obviously, and when you have another guy, it's like, hey, he can throw a pass, whatever that looks like. There's layers to plays that we had out there yet that we haven't got to. So, like I said, I just love and appreciate that kid so much for, what he's about. It's not about him. Like, there's a difference between having a big ego and having a strong ego. He wants to make our team as good as he can make it, and he believes that he can help us do that in a lot of different ways. So it was great to be able to see him get out there and help our football team.
And I just got one more, and I'll quit talking to football guys here. You mentioned it earlier. Did you feel like you lined up wrong on that swinging gate, or what?
Yeah, we just didn't block it right. And we had a guy coming wide open too. We just didn't give Simon any time. There's a few different options there off of it and they did a good job too. You got to give them credit. Like, their guy just, hard charger off the edge. We didn't get enough on him, and it's one of those things where obviously you'd like to we can give Simon just a little bit more time to make a decision. I believe that he'll make a good decision, but it just got up on top of him so fast. And a lot of times when you're in those things, you do your best educated guess because they are unique formations to be able to think like, hey, how are they going to line up to this? How would we line up to this? And it's not always the case. Sometimes when you do those things, there can be some panic on the other side, and guys just go and they solve their problems with aggression sometimes, and he was on top of Simon right now. So some things we got to work on and continue to get better at. I think, like I said, we want to use him in those situations as much as we can.
Coach, 5 of 12 on third down. What's your reaction to? Because that's obviously you want a higher number than that.
Yeah, those are things that we've continued to talk about with our guys. The situational football things that, we thought we needed to get better at. We're third down. It's still not to the standard yet of where we need to get it. We got to do a better job, of continuing to look at, hey, what are the strengths of our team? Where can we find different, personnel groups, plays, formations to be able to hit the easy button at times where it doesn't have to be, always a contested catch, always a box that maybe we don't love to run into and those types of things. And I know our offensive guys do a really good job, of trying to help our guys. You heard, Sawyer say earlier, like, hey, we're trying to give them as many answers to the test as we can give them, But, I mean, that's the art of being a player. On Saturday, there's going to be 5 or 6 things that your coach ain't out there, and that's where we're not coaching robots. We want these guys to have some instincts, to believe in what they see, and then go turn it loose, So I thought we were better in the red zone. What were we, 6 for 6 in the red zone? So that was the other part that I think is important, is going down there and scoring. Obviously, your field goal kicker is a part of that too as well. But we improved there, and now we got to continue to work on third down.
And then we saw multiple players make big plays for you guys. But what did you see from your offensive line? Because they've dealt with a lot of injuries already, but they stood pretty stout today.
Yeah, I mean, the heart of our team, right? Like, we talk a lot here about being a tough physical football team, about a certain mentality that we want to play with, and it starts up front. I mean, I've said it before, it's 5 of the 11 that you put out there. The elite teams, they're good up front. And I think we have some guys that are high-end guys that are, as quality as anybody in the league. And then I think we have some quantity too as well. We have some depth. We've been able to, the prior people that worked here recruited that position really, really well. And I'm excited about it. I think it can be a strength of our team, and I think as you go on throughout the year, those guys are going to continue to gel, and it's going to only continue to get, better and better as we keep moving here. So, and you add that with, the tight end position now. We really think we'll get our top 2 tight ends back here the next time we play, and then the depth that we have. They're really our top, Nate will be back too as well. Off his unfortunate deal for him here late in the week. But to be able to get healthy at that spot now and to go along that with our offensive line, I think, needs to be a strength of our team here moving forward.
And then my final question is we saw the team at the end of that game, singing you happy birthday and whatnot. What's that mean, though, that these guys have really bought into what you guys have brought to this program?
I mean, it's a family. Like, I tell the guys all the time, like, I got my family at home and I got you guys, and maybe that's weird, like maybe those are my weaknesses that I have in my life, but that's what we care about, and I think those guys, have a love. They've endeared themselves to each other through the hard work, that they've gone through. I think everybody always uses the word culture a lot, and in a lot of different sports and things like that. And to me, culture is doing hard things together. I've sat, with talking to some of the best leadership guys in the country, the Navy SEALs and those, and I mean, they get bonded together because of how hard and how strenuous and how much they believe in their process, and I think that's where our culture stands at. I mean, it's about doing hard things together, and those guys have done those things, those protocols, and now it's us being able to build off of those things here moving forward.
You had 4 quarterbacks get in the game, 8 guys carry the ball. What's that do for getting more of those guys, maybe lower on the depth chart? What's that do for their confidence in your mind?
Well, I think more than anything else, I mean, those guys work hard every single day, to finally be able to put the spotlight on those guys. And we value every one of those reps. Like, there's a standard of play that we want to have, and those guys understand that. And I did think there was some maturity on our sideline. I've been in those positions before where, sometimes the older guys just kind of, relax and maybe, have some side conversations and things like that are going on while the game's going on. They were locked in, and cheering those guys on. And, I was standing by all the receivers when Jimmy caught his first ball in the crossing out there, and they were, even before the play, they're like, hey, Jimmy's going to be open here, type of deal. And he caught it, made a guy miss, got a first down. So those are just things as a coach, you think about. The best teams that I've been around, they're the most mature teams in the locker room. Like, they've had to do it before. They understand it's a marathon, not a sprint, and they can handle the ups and downs of a game, a season, all those types of things. So there was definitely some good signs. I'm excited for a lot of guys. I mean, you saw Jimmy out there. I mentioned him. I think, Brody Thornton's a kid that has really come a long way here. Like our performance team and what we've been able to do with him, just as far as his body type and things like that. Like I really believe just those, all those helpers and supporters and what they've been able to do for these guys, not just, we're trying to give them a world-class football education, but there's a lot that goes into development. And those people are really, really important for us. And you can see some of those results now when you get into the depth of our team. I mean, the last thing I'll say is I think on third down, I thought like those guys did a better job than some of our starters did, at the end of the game. Like we were able to get off the field, which was good to see.
It's also homecoming too, given your affiliation with this program and your personal history. What's this like to, be back in your first season as head coach and have this moment, here in Grand Forks on homecoming too?
Yeah, great question. I don't know. I've always felt like there's just always been a lot of people use the word special. And I just think to me, like special here just means there's always been just a deep connection between the past players, the alumni, and the current players. And I've seen it, there's guys that are on campus that played in the 60s, and there's guys that, were here last year and watching those guys interact with each other, and they're talking about the same things. The dorms they lived in, like, hey, they both lived in McVeigh West. They both ate at the Red Pepper when they grew up, and those things. So it's just that brotherhood, right, that they still have. And the cool thing about it, there's so many people that have come through our program that are now successful, and they credit their time here at UND to being successful, and then they give back, and they impact our current team. And that's, to me, is what, when I say, like, hey, the connection just runs deeper, and, you see all these guys that they're back. They're coming back, and they come back multiple times, and it's just it's awesome, to just see those things and know a lot of those people before, they were who they are today. It's awesome. It's been a great weekend.